Hello antique fans, and welcome to my channel for another antique related video. This is Deanna from Vintage Touch Antiques. Well, another month has zoomed by. Where does the time go? But now that we have the calendar turned to a new month, it's time for what's been selling. And so I have up my webpage here that's part of iantiqueonline.com, where I have featured items for sale. And I have two albums, one for the previous month and the current month, and in this instance it's May and June. And once I start July's sales, the May sold album will go away. So without any further ado, let me show you what sold during the month of June 2016, and hopefully you were one of my lucky buyers. Opening up the June sold album, I'm just going to go piece by piece what has sold that was featured here on my webpage. The first item was a wonderful early Menon's Flush Tint Talcum Tin. It's an advertising piece. I sell a lot of advertising pieces. This one had a charming look to it with the floral pattern there, and that piece sold for $10. The next item was a youth size little girl's flannel petticoat. It has the nice embroidery, stitching, and decoration there on the hem area. That piece sold for $15. So this old whisk broom, and incidentally, I do sell a lot of old whisk brooms. I see a lot of people hanging them up in the primitive vignettes and so forth, and this one sold for $7. I also sold this great little train engine penny toy. It's like a tin litho, very small little toy. It was marked, it's got the CKD emblem there on it, and that little piece sold for $15. The next item was a small personal size granite teapot with the lift top lid. Nice little squatty piece, sold for $15. And the next piece was another garden tool, of which I've sold so many this season. And this was one of those all metal ones with the orange there on it and the wood tip, and that piece sold for $8. Next was another advertising piece, and this was called Rosebud Regulators. A lot of people collect these early health-related tins and bottles, and that one sold for $7. Another sock darner. This one had the worn paint there, which I think adds to its charm. You see all the character wear, and that one sold for $6. And then I sold another. I sold one of these earlier, but this one is a 16-hole chick feeder, all metal, tin top that's removable, and that one sold for $12. The next piece was a very deep old drawer that came out of something. It had a great handle there with all the embossing on it, and that old drawer sold for $18. The next piece was a Rain King Model D1 lawn sprinkler. Had all the embossed writing on the base there, cast iron base. Wonderful old lawn collectible. Usable as well. They're very durable. $29 is what that one sold for. And the next one, I still have three of these. Two have sold. One of them sold this month, and it's the little German Erzberg woolly stick-legged sheep. Great puts item. They were the 3.5 inches tall ones. And I sold another one for $39. So this picture will stay on since I still have three more. The next piece was a mid-19th century tin sugar bin that was had a nice embossed mirror on the front. The lift top lever and the top opened up here. It was a kind of a salmon color. This one was part of my sale. It had been reduced in price and was part of my reduced item on my reduced item video that I did a while back. And this one sold for $65. Another piece was a brown transferware plate, and this one was charming in the fact that it had the seaside emblems there and the little sailboat and cattails and so forth, and that one sold for $10. Now this was it had the name on there, Henry County, Virginia. It's a W.A. Brown's log cabin tobacco box, and it was circa 1800s from the 19th century, and nice graphics there on it with the log cabin. That one sold for $32. And a blue painted primitive bench. I sell a lot of footstools and so forth. This one was a little taller, not exactly a footstool, more of a bench. And this one sold for $32. The next piece, it's a dated advertising piece again. It was a box that once held large safety pins, Clinton safety pins, and it had a lot of charm to it with the top there, the way it looks, the Victorian look to it, and of course it also had the patent date right over here. So it was 1896, and that would just be charming to put among your sewing collectibles, and that piece sold for $10. Another advertising piece was this spice tin, cinnamon, LaCroix. I sell a lot of early spice tins, and that one sold for $9. And a little gingham cloth bag that had some antique clay marbles, 10 clay marbles, in fact, with the little drawstring bag there, sold for $13. And this was a print that was a Civil War officers gathering. Had them in their dress uniforms. Nice picture, great for patriotic season. And that one sold for $15. And this was an Argo, another advertising piece, Argo starch. This one was an online sale. It was full of product. Makes a great display piece with other old laundry pieces, and that one was an 8-ounce size, sold for $10. And here I sold a set of these little 2-inch wood thread spools, and it were the hourglass look. And I do have one of these sets online too in my online store, so the link should be below on this picture if you go to my webpage. If not, I'll get it for you. And those all sold for $6, just for the whole group. And here was a nice small set of cast iron bookends. Looked like it had a scribe there with Greek columns. Nice early bookends, sold for $15 for the set. And this piece, now this I showed in one of my new arrivals videos, as well as a collection video that I did. I showed this at the end of my personal collection video and said this was for sale. A sweet girl that's a subscriber here on YouTube contacted me about this piece, and I was able to pick it up from my shop happily and put it on my store, in my online store, so she could purchase it. And it just worked out very well, and I'm very happy to do that. Incidentally, if you see anything in my new arrivals videos or my haul videos that you're interested in, it's not that hard to pick it up. It just probably takes a couple of days for me to get back to the shop sometimes, and I can list it for you, and you can buy it online. Now, this one was an early American sampler, schoolgirl sampler, dated 1907, and a great primitive mid-19th century refractor frame, and that piece sold for $129. And she also, this one was also shown on that same video, and she also purchased this because I was able to pick this one up for her as well. An early cloth doll from the early 1900s with clothes, darling little piece, printed face there, and that one sold for $50. And the next was a little copper needlepoint flower frog. Again, you see me talking about those in my videos a lot because they sell so quickly, and this one sold for $5. And here was a group of terracotta vegetables, 3 pieces that sold. Really interesting. Had a little bit of paint wear, but nothing severe, and really charming. Hard to find things like that. And those sold for $39. Next was an antique little frame that was a crisscross frame with the little porcelain buttons there and a tintype image there of 19th century couple. I think I also showed that one in one of my videos, probably new arrivals, and that piece sold for $18. Next was an aluminum milk can. This one was 1 quart size. Nice dairy display item, and that one sold for $15. And an antique sewing machine drawer. I sell a lot of those as well. If you see Pinterest, you see what they're doing with them. And this one was unusual in that it had a curved back there. That one sold for $9. And a half-gallon storage jar, just a clear jar with the bale and the zinc cap. A lot of jars. I sell a lot of early jars, and that one sold for $10. This was also, I think, shown in one of my videos. It's an antique butter pat mold. It had the little floral print there. Cute piece, early, sold for $15. And so that concludes, we're back to the beginning now, so that concludes what sold for the month of June 2016, like I said, of my featured items that I have here on my webpage under iantiqueonline.com. Not all of my sales, of course, just those featured are what I'm showing when the month has ended. So before I close, let me invite you to come to my shop that's located, or my antique booth that's located in Antique Crossroads, Hagerstown, Maryland. I'm located on the left side of the mall, 3rd row. Just look for my large Vintage Touch sign that hangs in the back of my space. And also, please check the description of this video for where you will find me on social media, as well as the links to this web page here where you can visit as often as you like, along with my online store where I have a wide variety of vintage as well as antiques there. And finally, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button and help me spread the word about antiques and the joy of collecting and selling, and also the history that's behind them. And if you would like to set the notification symbol there, or click on it so that you can receive notifications of when I put up my videos, you won't have to miss a one. And now, before I close, let me remind you to enjoy your antiques, because when you own an antique, you own a piece of history. So bye-bye for now.